I just wish we had more light so everybody could appreciate your suntan.
Oh,
Did you have a nice holiday?
I come all the way back from pre-season camp in Spain to be here. Barnet, come on, bring it back home. Tony Campos deserves that. He's done marvellous at this club. His passion, his commitment, kicking in the what-sits time and time again, but he still carries on. Why? Because he cares for you, the supporters of Barnet, and the community. Bring it back!
So after that, you will agree to buy the player that Barry's trying to sell you, won't you? Yeah, you can't say no, really. Hey, look, I've got some questions. Thank you very much to everybody who wrote down questions before we got started. A lot of them are actually for you, Tony, so I'm going to have to leave them for another day, and I'm sure there will be another day to answer some of those. But just before I get on to the questions that are here, that film, I'm sure, brought back all sorts of memories. I just would like to ask each of you, you spent so much time at Underhill, so much time at this football club. But if you shut your eyes and think of Underhill, Paul, what is the one thing that sticks in your mind more than anything else that kind of sums up your time at Underhill, a favourite memory about your time at Barnet?
Yeah, there's so many moments. Lots and lots of moments, but from a personal point of view, it was a place where I was able to go and fulfill the dream that I wanted to, that I always had, and that was to become a Football League manager. And it's Underhill that I've got to thank, and Tony to thank for that memory that will never leave me. And also, the memory that I've got was connected to winning the championship. We'd actually won the game against Halifax, having gone losing 1-0. And then the last game of the season was against Carlisle United. I don't know how many people can remember that game. And the fact that none of us wanted to lose that game. We didn't want to finish that season at home, because we knew we were going to be presented with a trophy afterwards, and everyone in the stadium wanted to go, and the clock was ticking and we were losing 1-0. The chairman had run down from the side of the pitch and was standing next to me in the duck, just outside the fence, and he's screaming his head off, cajoling the players, screaming at them, trying to get them to be motivated. And then I can remember it clearly. A couple of minutes left, we got a long throw, and there was our old friend, Golden Boot Grazioli, with an amazing Jude Bellingham job. Overhead kick into the back of the net. Now, I found myself in the middle of the pitch, and with my hands up in the air, and all I remember is this guy, one of the Carlisle players, from running past me, clear off, you southern bastard. I'll tell you not to a scouser, but anyway, and that was a memory. I don't even remember going out to the pitch. I don't even remember, but I was out there with my hands in the air. That was one of the, it's a bit, asking your favourite bits is impossible, because there are just so many things that happened at Underhill that I will never forget.
Absolutely. How about you, Nigel? Is there one thing that kind of stands out?
Oh yes, Tom. Yeah. I've been a professional footballer for 17 years. When I finished playing football, I've done okay for myself, but you just put yourself into a good position. I never had any qualifications, but I'd been starting to do my coaching badges, and I wanted to be a manager. I never knew that I would be a manager, but I was hoping. And then one day I took a telephone call from Peter Shreve, and he said, Martin, that's Peter Shreve, I've quit, and I've told Tony to give you the job. It was the moment, the telephone call that changed. Because you imagine a 32-year-old, you've got 30, 40, 50 years ahead of you with no career, no income. And it was something I've been waiting for and dreamt of for ages and ages. And when we played at home, Mr. Cleanthos rang me as well a bit later to confirm, take over for now. We played at home to Hereford. I think that was my first game at Underhill. They'd won the league. Behind the goal, there's probably about 2,000 Hereford fans. They all had yellow balloons coming out onto the pitch. They'd already the champions. And there was me in my first game, as you can imagine, ready to fight anyone and win at all costs. Shit or bust it was. Those players that day, oh my God, they ran themselves into the ground. And I absolutely loved it, and we beat them. And it was the start at Underhill of 22 years as a manager, on and off. It was the start, and that game, Graham Turner was the manager of Hereford, and his first team coach, I can't remember his name, but he went on to be a top coach in the Premier League. And that day, taking them on, was just the most magical day at Underhill, and the atmosphere within the stadium was just electric. Never forget it, Tom. Never ever forget it.
No, brilliant. How about you, Barry? You've already told the Christmas Eve story, which probably is your all-time favourite. But just one of those when you shut your eyes and you think Underhill. What's the?
Well, it's Barnet, really. I mean. We finished second 3 times in the conference, and it was hard to take because it went to the last game of the season. Although on them 3 occasions we won our game, but the other team did as well, so we lost out 3 times. But finally, when we went to Fisher away, and there must have been 4,000 or 5,000 Barnet fans there, no Fisher fans, weren't allowed in on that day. The wonderful atmosphere. We went 1 down, at the bottom of the league, we was top. We pulled it back, then we went 2-1 down, but we pulled it back and won 4-2, and we're in the Football League. You know, it was just unbelievable. And the fans that day, all dressed in fancy outfits, and to see their faces finally getting into the Football League for the first time was just an experience that I'll never forget.
Yeah. And there is, I mean, all of you will all have a sense of this. You know, when you have your moments, whether it's beating Hereford or it's winning the league, you know, the distance, you think about, it's always been like that, but now more than ever, the distance between kind of players and managers at the very top of the English football pyramid. The gap between them and the people, the gap between the people who play and the people who pay to watch them play is enormous. It's like when people go, if you go to Old Trafford, you go to, you go to Anfield, you go to Emirates, it's like going to the pictures.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The gap is that big. You're watching movie stars. And
yeah, we waited for 9 years to get in the Football League, you know, and it was a wonderful occasion. First game in Football League at home. Barnet 4, Crew 7. Next game, Barnet 5, Brentford 5. Next game, Lincoln 0, Barnet 6. Next game, back to Brentford. Brentford 3, Barnet 6. And we was part-time then, and we got to the playoffs in our first year. Beat Blackpool 1-0 at home, lost to dubious penalty up at Blackpool, but what an achievement, what a baptism into league football, absolutely fantastic.
No, it's brilliant. And you know, you talk about being somebody in the middle of the pitch, Paul. Yeah. And you're there. You're part of everything that this club and football means to the supporters, and you're there with them. There's not this gap.
Absolutely, that was the feeling. Just embracing that moment.
So, Martin, you mentioned, funny enough, I was thinking on the way up, you mentioned Graham Turner and Hereford, and I remember being at Hereford the afternoon they dropped out of the league. They should have beaten Brighton and didn't, and so Brighton stayed up, and Hereford went down. Graham Turner was the manager then, and actually that afternoon resigned, but then decided to stay and tried to drag. I remember a conversation with Graham Turner about Hereford. Now Hereford is a cathedral city. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's a cathedral city. They've got the Mappa Mundi, they've got this, they've got, it's right next to the Wye Valley, tourism, all of this. And Graham just went, if I say Hereford to anybody, they go, Ronnie Radford, Newcastle in the FA Cup. The football club is the single most important thing, one for the people in the town, or city as it is in the case of Hereford, but also for everybody else. And that's as true of Barnet as any other club, where you go, with the best will in the world, you say Barnet and people ain't thinking of the church, they ain't thinking of the shopping centre, they ain't thinking of the Chamber Music Festival, which I'm sure is brilliant, but they're thinking about the football club. And that's a decade after we left, thinking about the football club. And it's the football club that is the centre of this community, this borough. Just talk to me about how important it is, because of that, for the club to come back here. Yeah.
Tom, I came a bit early today. Coming off the M25 at the South Mims exit, rather than the Watford turn off to cut across, to come round the motorway and then drop down past that nice golf club. And then I got to those traffic lights at the top of that hill, and I was sitting there thinking, Jesus, this is what it was like. That was my journey. That was my journey into the games. That nervous journey before you watch your team play. Oh my God, it used to scare me to death, and I was ready to fight every game that we used to play because I needed to win to get a job. Going down the high street, you'd see, in those days, it was granddad, son and grandson walking down the hill. Nowadays, of course, that's changed with nan, mum, daughters coming to watch football more. Coming down here today, and I drove round the back and had a walk round that park where that cricket pitch used to be. So I haven't been back. It was just absolutely, tears in my eyes, magical, what it used to be. And I kind of compare it to like a cathedral where you worship your team. Every week you go there and you worship your club. And grandchildren, children, grandparents, it just filters all the way through that community, brings everybody together. And coming back today to be with you and be around Underhill is just magic. And I'm sure to the people that I met a lot when I was manager at the other place, to try and persuade them to come in private. And they had that 100% won't return until it comes back to Underhill. So hopefully this can get through. And Dan, the man from Labour, is he gone or is he still here? Hopefully he can pull some magic out of his back pocket.
Just to talk to me about exactly what Martin's speaking about.
Yeah.
You know, when for people who live in Barnet, what the club means, what it means to have a club in this borough. It's great. There's been a club at the Hive, and Tony and everybody who's worked there has done an amazing job. It's an amazing facility, it's an amazing place, but it's not in Barnet.
No.
Why does it matter so much to Barnet to have the club back?
It matters because the majority of people here today will have been going to Barnet when they were kids. It is, as Arsene Wenger said, it's their spiritual home. And going somewhere else, going away from that spiritual home, is wrenching. That's all they've known as children. You get attached to your club and you stay loyal to that club. You know, and after a game, there's the various water holes around the stadium that they'd spill out into, you know, to celebrate or commiserate. And then wander up the hill to the town centre, the fish and chip shop. As much as I love the Hack, you can't do those things there, you know. And as Martin alluded to, coming down that road, down Underhill, that hill, and looking to where the ground was a strange feeling today. Strange, really strange. And I can understand why people want to come back to the cricket pitch, wherever it's going to be. I can remember us training there. That was our training venue for a good few years. But coming back to those and picking up the vibes from where they were back in those days. Because football is about your roots, it's about your spiritual home. And I believe that this gentleman here is going to make that happen.
Well, he's going to make it happen. He needs everybody's help to make it happen. You know what I mean? It's, and I'm sure we're headed in the right direction. Barry, I mean, you've lived and breathed football for your entire life. Obviously, you can't tell me a story about what it's like driving down the hill and coming down towards Underhill, because you're always sleeping and person doing the driving. You do have a sense of what this club means to this borough. And you know, when you're just that it's not just that as fans wanting the club back, it's like the borough itself needs that centre.
I mean, the last 10 years I was here, we gradually built the crowds up. You know, and there's Barnet supporters was brilliant, and it was great for the community, marvellous for the community. And why I feel so sad for Tony, because he was forced out of here to go somewhere else. He lost a lot of support with that. You know, people can't go 4 or 5 miles down the road for whatever reason. And he lost a bit of that. And as try as he can, doing what he's done a miraculous job at the Hive. But as you said earlier on, it's not like Underhill. It's not like being in Barnet. So we need to get back to Barnet, and I think the crowds will increase. And we're doing a great job for the community.
Absolutely.
That's what I don't get.
No, absolutely.
You know, the whole community loved us being successful, all of us, and doing that. And then we get kicked out. Terrible.
No, absolutely. Just bear with me. I'm a bit sentimental about it. No, you well enough for that. But just give me an idea of, from the manager's point of view, getting to Underhill on a kind of November night for a game in, well, what's now League 2 or a game in the conference. What was the kind of atmosphere around the ground? In the dressing rooms and those tiny little corridors and everything. What was it like before a game?
Well, it was fantastic, and the beauty of the game is, in those days, you know, if we're kicking in that goal, our fans are behind that goal. At half time you come out and our fans are behind this goal. And there ain't no trouble, there ain't no nothing, it's just football people enjoying the game of football. And that created a wonderful atmosphere, you know, and it's taken away a little bit now with everything. But in the look, being at Underhill with the slope and with everything, I mean, wow. We had so many wow games, you know what I mean? 3-0 down at half time, but we're going down the slope this half and we win 5-3. You know, it's great entertainment. And everybody believed, you know, even going uphill, we had a lot of pace in our teams, and we thought going uphill we'd just do as well. It was just the whole atmosphere, and the supporters believed it. And like I say, it done wonders for the community, and that's what we've lost a little bit going to the Hive, unfortunately. No fault of Tony's, he's tried his hardest to do everything, work miracle after miracle. But we need to get back to Barnet, ladies and gentlemen.
You talked the bit in the film where you're sitting in the dressing room and you go, nothing's changed. And you go, well, of course nothing's changed. Nothing ever would, do you know what I mean? Tone could put an extra coat of paint and do what you... But that was part of the place had history seeping out of it. Now obviously what we're dreaming of is a new stadium, a new home for Barnet, but that history will travel with it, won't it?
That's a good question. People felt lost for a while when they moved from Underhill, because there was an attachment, Tom. You can't. I mean, Barry said it, Martin said it. There was a special feel. It didn't matter what it was like inside the changing room. It was the people who were in there that were important, and the people around the club that were important. So it's hard to move to somewhere and replace that magic that you had in those changing rooms and those facilities. To replace it.
You might do with a little bit. What were team talks like in there, Martin? I mean, those dressing rooms were, you know, if you could deliver your team. Not that you ever would, but you could have delivered your team talks in a whisper and everybody would heard you. But getting a whole squad in there, they were tight, weren't they?
Yeah, it was tight. The corridors were tight. You could hear what the other people were saying. The referees' room was right next to you. The kit room was about as big as this little square here to put your bits and pieces in. It had character, didn't it? It had character, it had personality. It oozed it when you walked in. And that nice lady that used to make the teas in that little room next to the dressing rooms. And just the different little intricacies that made it Barnet, made it Underhill. It was that character that you can lose in those modern day stadiums. They can be, boring, Magnolia, boring. Underhill had it all, and I guess when it comes back and Dan does his job, then where is Dan? When Dan does his job, I think it will. I'm sure it will be put in with some touches from Underhill added into the new stadium, because I think that will be absolutely imperative to make sure that character and personality from Underhill moves into the new stadium, ready for the manager to crack on.
As I say, thank you so much for questions that I've got beforehand. I'm not going to run the ones that were specifically for Tony past him now, but I'm going to pass them on to you, Tony, if that's all right. Because and thanks to Jensen, who really asked what we've been talking about. How important is it to have Barnet Football Club back in Barnet? And what are the benefits from a football point of view? That's a really good point, Jason. I mean, we're obviously talking about how good it is for the borough to have Barnet here. What would you think would be, you talk about the next manager, this manager, what are the benefits for a team and for a manager to be playing in that spiritual home where that club belongs? Do you feel that? Will that make a difference?
You get bigger crowds, so the biggest support, so that always helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think it will make a difference, won't it?
No doubt about it.
Michael, we're on the kind of. Michael wants to know from each of you, which player was your most important signing for your conference winning season? Paul.
I think I can remember coming in for that my first season. I mean, and I wouldn't say it was one. It was a group of signings that I made. A group of young players that are signed. Dean Sinclair, Nicky Bailey, shifting Simon King around from being a left back to us. So it was a number of things that I did, and of course we were fortunate because we had a goal scorer in Grazioli. But those players had so much vibrancy about them, and most of all, no fear. They played with no fear at all, like I hope the England team will do tonight, because it's evident when they play with no fear, they can run riot. And people like Sinclair and the audacious Nicky Bailey, they had no fear, you know.
How about you, Mark?
Mine's. Is that working? Yeah. Mine's quite simple and very, very straightforward. One Sunday afternoon, I took a telephone call from John Steele, the manager of Bristol Rovers. He said, Mark, he said, I've got a player for you, centre forward. I said, oh yes, John. John was full of enthusiasm, as we all know John to be. So it's like 5 o'clock on a Sunday, not the sort of day that managers normally work on a Sunday. You try and get that one day of the week off to be with your family. Anyway, Grazioli. Who's he? Take him. He'll score your goals, son. He'll take him, he'll score your goals. So I said, you serious? Yeah, okay. Give me an hour. So I find out, Google, I think you can still do those days. Anyway, he was 5'7". And I thought, ooh. Rang the chairman. Chairman, we've got a centre forward. He's coming to Thursfield Sports Centre, our training pitch then, our training ground. He's coming in the morning from 9:30 for a medical, and we're going to sign him on a 2-year contract. He said, is he a good player? I've never even seen him play. And I said, yeah, proper good player. Good lad, good in the air, gets around, does everything you want from a centre forward. Great lad, absolutely love him. You're going to love him. I've never even seen him play. The chairman falls for it, full of bullshit. Get there the next morning.
You've fallen for it, I've still it.
Oh no, I needed a centre forward. So there's round tables at the sports centre reception where the yummy mummies sit and have cappuccinos with their babies. And there's me, Adrian Whitbread and Damien Doyle, and a couple of the players had come to see me about something. It's quite busy coming through the cafeteria at the sports centre, and all of a sudden, right here on my shoulder, this bloke walks in. It's 9:30. He put his hand out to shake my hand, and he had a lovely smile, and he was really pretty. I went, yeah? He went, you alright? Can I help you? He said, yeah, I'm Giuliano Grazioli. I said, I am. I had to turn around and thought I was behind a midget. Okay. So the physio took him off to get his medical. I rang the chairman and said, everything's done. We needed someone to come up and get the contract signed. And we signed him chairman without even watching him play. So he was the best one because he was brilliant for the club, thankfully. And a great lad. I'm very proud of and pleased and privileged to have got that signing done.
100%. How about you, Mel?
Gotta be.
Yeah, take this.
Thanks, mate. Gotta be Gary Bull. Brought him and Gary Bull £5,000 off Cambridge United. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Held it up, brought other players in to play, scored goals for fun. Record number of goals to get us promotion the year we won, so it's got to be him, mate.
Yeah. I mean, all of you though had teams that, like Paul was saying, where it was obviously, you know, you're able to identify whether it's Bully or Giuliano, individual players, but there's a togetherness.
Yeah.
Is what, you know, you can be a good team in the National League, in League Two. You know, I watch a lot of Cheltenham because I live down that way. I watch a lot of Cheltenham, and you go, yeah, he's not a bad player. He's not bad. What gets you over? You know, what won Cheltenham League 2 3 years ago wasn't Ben Tozer, wasn't even Alfie May. It was something being more than the sum of your parts.
Yeah, we had players. We had Paul Showler from Barrow. We had Kenny Lowe from Gateshead or something, and we had Mark Carter from Runcorn. All over the place. Used to travel down, train. great lads, with great team spirit.
That's what I mean, yeah, you
Great
put the right group together.
That's why on a Friday night when we was away, I used to tell all the lads to go out and get pissed, come back at 2 o'clock, and they wouldn't know what they were doing on the Saturday. But we always won. Don't change it if it ain't broken.
Gordon is asking about engagement with local residents, but I'm thinking engagement with Barnet fans, because of course a lot of them are, a lot of Barnet fans are local residents. Do you remember particular supporters, you know, particular exchanges with Barnet fans, with local people, just about the club while you were manager?
Yeah, I can relate to that totally. I can remember we used to have there was a Barnet Christmas market, and I can remember that myself and the players used to go up to that at the time they closed the main road up with a big stall out and about, and you meet all the various people running the stalls, and some of them obviously work on the turnstiles at Barnet. It was just a big club thing, but yeah, people. I mean, the football clubs are all about the people and the supporters. We must never forget that. You know, they're the ones who put the money into the turnstile. They're the ones who cry when they get home or celebrate when they win. And every one of those. I mean, I was watching. What's that? Be a clip a few months back of a game. Barnet when I was manager, and it showed you the stand, the far stand up to the dugout, and there's cameras scanned along that, and I spotted someone whose son I used to teach, and this guy sadly has passed away now. Jim Lavery, some people might know him here, and for some reason the cameras was focused on him for a moment, you know, and then all the other people. I can remember all of those faces. I can remember all those faces. Maybe not the names, but I remember all the faces when I see people. I mean, I was out the Falkland Islands a few years back, and a guy came up to me and said, "Hi, I'm a Barnet supporter." And then we lost touch. He had a shirt. He took a photograph out there. It was some kind of ambassadorial guy. And then a few weeks I was doing my weekly shop as I do in Olding, and we bumped into each other again. And his name is Nick. He said, "Just call me Nick Falkland." So yes, you know, these people just crop up from time to time in your life, and you know, and you'll meet people while you're out, and they'll say hi, you know. That's great. I mean, I was at a gig the other week. Here's me saying I went to a gig, that's only because we've got someone who plays music in the family, but we went to a gig, and my wife wants to get to the front of the stage, so I'm trailing in behind it, and I tap this fellow on the shoulder and say, hey, excuse me, I'm sorry mate, she wants to see a brother like, you know, and he said, hi, it's Paul Flecknoff here, you know, and I can remember his face, and he tells his mate, and I spent the time talking to them, time. It's all about people, Tom.
No, absolutely. And you look at where Underhill was, Mark. You look at where, and literally 5 yards. You're in a residential street. You're in the middle of a community. You know, you've got those people streaming down from Barnet, from High Barnet. People coming up from Totteridge and Rack, from all the streets around. You're going to be connecting every single day, not just match days. You'll be connecting every single day with the people who are coming and paying on the turnstile come Saturday or come Tuesday night, aren't you?
Yeah, and from the film, Tom, something that I picked up was, great memories as well, was Village and the input that he had into the football club when I was working there, and our friendship that we built up. And then there's another guy, I don't think he's here today, called Reckless. He's another guy that I always kind of had a chat with and a bit of banter with. I'm not sure if he's actually here today. And then the other guy with the long grey hair, he looked like Jesus, called Steve Percy. Oh my God, what an experience I had with him. Supporter, loved the club, loved everything. He used to absolutely verbally beat me up from behind my house and we were playing shit. And he used to give it to me big time, give it to me big time. And then one day, near the end of the season, we were playing this stupid competition called the Hearts Senior Cup, whatever that is. So I said to this Percy geezer, well, if you're so flipping good, not quite flipping, if you're so flipping good, why don't you pay some money and you can come and be a sub? We'll give you a debut for Barnet Football Club. And he's like looking at me like, oh my God, oh my God. He said, are you serious? I said, absolutely, but you've got to pay the money. So he paid the money, paid the money, he's sub, he's sitting there chomping, looking out on this shitty game, midweek. He's getting all excited, I could tell his eyes are popping. 5 minutes to go, Percy get warmed up, so he starts warming up. He comes back, he stands next to me, he says, I'm ready. So I put him on. Oh my God. Within 1 minute, he two-footed with the worst tackle right in front of me. It was like, oh my God, he absolutely done the opposition player. The lad's like crying on the floor of agony, the physio's gone and he just looked at me like, that's it. I tried to sign him, but Tony wouldn't have it.
You come back, Harry, you come back, you know, an event like this, or I know you come and watch Barnet as often as you can. And like, obviously, people recognise you, so, oh, Barry, it's great to see you. But you recognise them, didn't you? Oh, yeah. These are people, you know, you spend as much time as the three of you out at this club at Underhill and Sid. People recognise every face.
Yeah, well,